Oh, that's a bit sinister. Hello, the mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome back to updated 2017 thoughts. This time we'll be looking at Matt Smith's second series, Series 6, a controversial series. For a long time I said this was my least favourite out of every season of Doctor Who ever. Kind of reevaluated that, I would say. Just because I've been watching some episodes from it recently and I've enjoyed them quite a bit. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see as I go through all the episodes here what I think of them. So we start off on the box set and we've got A Christmas Carol, which is the Christmas special, so I may as well include it here. I really like A Christmas Carol. I watched it this Christmas just gone and I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really nice it's a really nice character story with Abigail and Kazran. The Christmas Carol is probably the definitive Christmas story, no matter what version you decide to watch, whether it's got Muppets, whether it's got Jim Carrey, or whether it's got a bit of Doctor Who. I think it's a very nice story, and I think that the Doctor Who twist that's put on it doesn't feel forced. I feel like it's very natural. I really enjoyed it this past watch. I think it's a very emotional story. It's a very sweet story. And Abigail's song at the end, when everything just drowns out and you just hear Catherine Jenkins singing, and the day's being saved. It's a really nice moment. I have grown a new appreciation for that special. I think I really like it a lot, and I feel like it's a nice change of pace to do a more emotional story for the Christmas special, Matt Smith's first Christmas special as well. So now we have The Impossible Astronaut / The Day of the Moon. Again, I watched this recently, and I think The Impossible Astronaut is a really good opener. Day of the Moon, however, I still really liked, but I feel like it got a bit too timey-wimey for its own good. I don't think... the Series 6 story arc is so muddled and so messy, and all of River Song's timeline, while I was watching Day of the Moon, I kept having to pause, check on Google for her complete timeline, to figure out where this was in her chronology, because it's just confusing. It really is. The whole arc of Series 6 is so complicated. I don't know how I wrapped my head around this when I was younger, because on this recent rewatch of some of the episodes, I didn't have a hope in how. Yeah. Very complex, but it's got some great moments. It's got of the Doctor's defeat of the Silence is great when it's his speech he gives is just that shows Matt Smith's strength when he delivers speeches, when he's like, and one great big kick up the backside for the Silence, you just ordered your own execution. It's great, and you should kill us all on sight. That's sort of become iconic for me, I feel. So yeah, I do like the opener. Day of the Moon gets a bit unnecessarily complex, but I feel it's a good story overall. You get some dark moments from Matt Smith as well, like when he's like, don't ever lie to me, don't ever think you are capable of doing that. It's just, he's really sinister at some points. We hit our first snag quite early on, didn't we? The Curse of the Black Spot. It's pretty awful, isn't it? You get Crowbar in references to the story arc with Madame Kavarian popping up in a hatch. It's the plot is fairly decent. It's expanding on an element of history, which is what Doctor Who should do. When it goes historical, it's sort of expanding on the legend of the Black Spot and how pirates thought it was their doom, and it's sort of maybe they were right about it being their doom after all. So I really like that aspect of the story, but Rory dies again. I think this was the third time, I think, and this was when we were thinking, wow, Rory's died quite a bit, hasn't he? And he will die more times. I don't know why I started singing. Yeah, Curse of the Black Spot is pretty awful. The Doctor's Wife. I feel I need to go back and watch this, actually, because I feel like there's some good stuff in it. I just feel it's a bit overhyped. Overhyped. Mainly because Neil Gaiman wrote it, and Neil Gaiman's quite a famous writer. There was some great stuff in it. There's some really creepy stuff when Amy sees Rory aging rapidly, and he's just written on the wall, "Kill Amy, die Amy." That scared me a lot when I was younger. Just that scribble on the wall, "Die Amy, kill Amy," and you just see him there as an old man. He's like, and he's like bashing his head against the wall, and then she comes back later, and he's just a skeleton. It's really eerie stuff. Saran Jones as Idris, I feel, it's good to give the TARDIS a voice. And Matt Smith at the end, his performance is great when she's saying goodbye, and he's like, "No, I don't want you to," and he's crying and stuff. And then the lights come back on, and it's its natural lighting again. The TARDIS' natural lighting, and you just see how tear stained his face is and red it is, and he's just like holding his jacket, and he just turns back towards the console. Without a word, and it's just like this has affected the Doctor, hasn't it? The Ood's pretty cool. It's nice to see the Tennant console again, but I ultimately feel like the story is a lot overhyped. Although there is some great stuff in it, I feel I need to give this another rewatch actually, because it's hard for me to make an exact opinion on this. The Rebel Flesh and the Almost People. Now, this story gets a lot of hate, understandably so. It's filled with awful CGI, awful characterisation, and awful writing. However, on this recent rewatch, I kind of enjoyed it. Part 1 is easily the strongest part. You really get to sense of these characters. You feel like you know them by the end, especially Jimmy and Buzzer, and you start to feel sympathy for Jennifer. And where her character's going, and I feel like the gangers are really, it's sort of an adult concept. When I think of this story, it's very, I can imagine kids not liking this because it's a very dark sort of concept and a very dark story in general. It doesn't feel like your average Doctor Who story. The characters are plunged into a dark environment, and I guess that's why I like it more than most. Part 2, when it falls apart, when Jennifer Ganger her head grows and you just get this monster, it's really badly done in CGI. However, I don't think that CGI is as bad as the blob of Ganger faces, the rejected Gangers. That is just some of the worst CGI I've seen in Doctor Who. It really looks awful. But overall, I think the whole story gets a 6 out of 10. I don't hate it as much as others do, but I can see why it gets the hate, and it probably does deserve it. Also, Daddy, when are you coming home? Yes. He's a kid, I know, but you could have picked a better actor. Another point I will just quickly say about the Ganger two-parter, Matt Smith's performance is excellent. He plays off himself really well when he's the Ganger Doctor, and when he's obviously Doctor. And he's like really sinister in a couple of moments when Rory's trying to go. I can't remember if he's playing the Ganger or not, or whether he's playing himself, because they did this whole switcheroo thing with the shoes, and it doesn't. When you look back in the episode in detail, the switcheroo thing doesn't make a lot of sense when you think where the characters were at that time, what they were doing. It really doesn't make sense. But when when Rory's trying to escape, he goes, "Ring, ring." He pushes Rory. "Ring, ring." And he's just like, it's like, what is wrong with you? And when the Ganger Doctor, or maybe it was Doctor, I don't know. It's so confusing. Oh, my mind. Yeah, when he's outside in the corridor with Amy, he just grabs her, gets her up on the wall, and just goes, why? And it's just like, oh, you're creepy. Also the cliffhanger. Pretty good cliffhanger. I remember that going out and just like, what is happening here, and it just sets up for the finale of part 1 of Series 6, like, expertly, I feel. And that brings me on to A Good Man Goes to War. Now, I really like this story, even now. Matt Smith is just excellent in this. He plays it really seriously. You get awesome moments like the Captain Avery, Hugh Bonneville coming back from Curse of the Black Spot, one of the few redeeming elements of that, when Kavarian's trying to escape and he just goes, "This ship is ours!" and he just points the gun at her. You get moments like when the Doctor's disguised as the Headless Monk and he launches the attack on Demon's Run, and the Majestic Tales playing, and you just get him going, "This is the Doctor to Danny Boy, fire!" and he's just like, he's making the plane movements, he's going, he's having really fun with it, but he's also playing it really dark. You get the Colonel Runaway speech is fantastic. When he's just like, "Oh, I'm angry, that's new. I really don't know what's going to happen now." And you just see the anger in his eyes, and you just like, you don't know what he's going to do, and it's really scary. And then River shows up at the end after people get massacred. Strax dies, he gets brought back, thank you Stephen Moffat. And he just... the girl dies. She was in Black Mirror, World at the moment. I've forgotten her name now. And the Doctor's like, "Of course I remember you. I remember everyone." She dies, and the Doctor's like, "Who was she?" He didn't remember her after all. It's just such a bleak. It's a bleak story, I feel. When River comes back after the massacre, and he's just like, "Where the hell have you been? People have died. Where the hell were you today?" And there's no music. And then he flips back again when she reveals that she's Melody Pond, and he's just like, "But that means..." Oh, and he just goes off in his TARDIS, he's like... And he just goes back in and dematerialises. It's great. And I really love the ending to this, with that cliffhanger, and then the Doctor will return in Let's Kill Hitler. That is just such a cool tease. To viewers at the time, I remember being like, "Oh my god, that sounds awesome." And let's go on to that, shall we? Let's Kill Hitler. They really dropped the ball with this. Hitler's barely in it, for one, so it doesn't really warrant calling Let's Kill Hitler. Roy just punches him and locks him in a closet, so that's fantastic. River Song, again, it's like... Whenever I watch this, I'm just like... Okay, so this is the first time she regenerated into River's Song, but does that mean... So if she was born from Amy's DNA in the TARDIS, when did her and Rory do when they were in the TARDIS? And does that mean that she is Time Lady now, even though she's technically not? Does that mean Amy has got Time Lord DNA in her? It's really, like... It's hard to wrap my head around. It's so unnecessarily complicated. The Tesseract was a good idea, comes back again and we realise how crap it was and how game-breaking it is. Or TV-breaking, I should say. Let's Kill Hitler was a real missed opportunity, and I do not, for 1 second, believe that River would give up regeneration for the Doctor. That's a regeneration. You've already... Next up, Night Terrors. The lighting is getting really dark here. It's getting dark out. Let me try and fix that. There we go, the light's on. It might create a slightly blurred image, but what are you going to do? I love Night Terrors, and no one else seems to. I find it so underrated. I like the kid a lot. Again, the story is really nice. I feel like I can just put this on if I want to watch a fun Doctor Who story. The Doctor's great with the kid. Matt Smith is just like, when he sonics all the toys and they start going, and he's just like, I highly recommend the Doctor Who Brilliant book, because it expands on this story. You see George's diary, and how he's like really scared of everything around him. It's like, you can read into that, and it's like, it expands on the story quite a bit. And Daniel, is it Daniel Mays? I think it is, who plays Alex. He was in Rogue One. When he's like, when the Doctor's like, "Oh, why didn't you remember that day with John?" He's like, "Because Claire can't have kids!" And he's just like, oh, Claire can't have kids. And he's just like, that slow realisation. George isn't their child. He's an alien. Amy gets turned into a peg doll. That's interesting. Yeah, it's really creepy at the end as well, tying into the story arc when it's like, tick tock goes the clock, and then it ends with when River kills the doctor. Oh, that's a bit sinister. Anyway, what's next? The Girl Who Waited. Frequently cited as one of the series' best stories, and I kind of agree. I feel it's a real great insight into Amy and Rory's relationship, how angry Amy gets at the Doctor in the future, and how cruel the Doctor can be. There's just one look Matt Smith gives in this, and it's towards the end, and he sells it completely. He just glares. Oh, it's just awesome. Again, I haven't watched this in a while, so I feel I need to go back and watch it. But I feel like it's a great. That's falling out. It's a great story, I think. The God Complex. Also, I feel this is a really creative concept in the hotel. It's pretty scary. You've got clowns, gorillas, dummies galore. Did we ever find out what was it? Yes, we did. It was the crack in room 11, isn't it? I remember I thought for ages that was the Master. But it's the crack as revealed to us in Time of the Doctor. So, yeah, that's interesting. I do feel there's a lot of wasted potential. There's a lot of unnecessary things, like having Kid Amy come back, who's clearly a lot older than she was in Series 5. But, yeah, and the last scene where Doctor says goodbye to Amy, and Amy's just crying, is a really nice scene, you know, it's really good, it's really good. Closing time, one last call for alcohol. Closing time, yeah. I've always liked Closing Time. It's a very weird story. The Cybermen are really weird with it. They get defeated by the power of love. Don't take money, don't take fame. Why am I singing so much? They get defeated by the power of love. Alright, it's a nice sequel to The Lodger, another story I quite like. Again, it's just sort of a fun one I can put on. Matt Smith's great in it with the kids at the end. He's just like, I think that's when he says, I'm the Doctor, I'm here to help, and you are very, very welcome. And he just steps into the TARDIS and leaves. Again, a really cool scene, and he can speak baby. That's a bit cringy. The last scene where you see River and Kavarian together, and you just sort of see in the back, what's that? Is that a face? Oh my god, it's the Silence. Because I was terrified of the Silence when I first saw this. And they just sort of slowly come in. It's like, is that the Silence? And they slowly come in. They strap her down, they drug her, and the last shot is of her coming up to the lake to kill the Doctor moments before. That's such an eerie image. I love that so much because it's a really eerie image because it's moments before he dies and she's just coming up to kill him. Great. Absolutely great. So Closing Time's alright, actually. I wouldn't say it's one of the best stories, but it's okay. And then things are ruined with The Wedding of River Song. Now, Matt Smith looks pretty awesome in this with the long hair. I kind of wish he'd stuck with that, actually, because he looks really good with the long flowing hair. The Silence are creepy again. Kavarian's good, I guess. It all falls apart when they go into the pyramid, though. The first couple of minutes are sort of okay. With Churchill going on about downloads, never thought I'd see that. It's pretty funny. It's alright. Then we get into the pyramid and things are undercut. This shows how complex this is. Things have changed so much in the universe. Amy can't remember Rory yet again. Yet again they're not together. Yet again he's killed. I mean, even the Silence says. They say at the end, what do they say? Rory Williams, the man who will die, and die, and die again. Even they comment how much he dies. There's a really weird bit where Amy's like, yeah, so that means I'm his grandmother or godmother or something. She says something weird. It completely undercuts all tension in the series because the Doctor keeps going from I don't want to die, okay, I'm gonna die, okay, no, I'm the Doctor, no, the universe doesn't owe me, I'm not dying, okay, I'll die, okay, I'm not gonna die, I'm gonna rebel, okay, Brig's dead, I'm gonna die now. The fact that they brought Brig in just for that, I mean, it's a nice tribute just playing his theme there, the Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart music. And how he kept a bit of whiskey by, was it whiskey to just so if the Doctor came by one day. It's a nice tribute to Nicholas Courtney, but I don't think it was right to use that for the Doctor to go. Maybe it's time. I don't. Maybe in poor taste. I don't know. And of course they get married. It just undercuts all the tension of the series when the Doctor, because like as I said, he constantly goes from I don't want to die, okay, I'm gonna die, and he accepts it. He's like, oh, I'm gonna die. Shit happens. Nothing can prevent this now. The Tesselector's like, do you want us to help? And he's like, no, I can't. And he leaves, and then he just goes, I've changed my mind. And we reveal it's been a Tesselector Doctor for a long, long time. Why? It just undercuts all tension, because why can the Doctor just go, alright, yeah, I can do that, I may change history, but it's not even played for seriousness like it is in Waters of Mars when Tennant does that. It's played as like, the Doctor's gone too far, what has he done? And it's played serious and it's good. Here it's just, it annoys me. And I think Series 6, although it has some good stories in it, I think that's the reason it fails overall, is the fact that the story arc's way too complex for its own good. It's good marathon material, though, but it's far too complex, it's far too timey-wimey. Stephen Moffat just got far too Sherlocky in his writing style. Matt Smith's great, as always, in everything, but it just, not the best series at all. But there are some good stuff in it. Matt Smith's great throughout, but it's just the story arc is really just probably the worst story arc. No, the Hybrid, maybe. And this and the Hybrid are the worst story arcs just because they're so needlessly complex and game-changing. I feel drained. But there are some good stuff in it, like I said, so I guess Series 6 isn't so bad anymore then. I mean, I'd probably take it over Series 7, actually. Yeah, I would. So what do you think of Series 6? Did you like it? Did you not? Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care now.